guest today is Kelly Hopkins-Alvarez. She's an amazing human being. She's a licensed professional counselor, certified sex therapist, and board certified coach, and many more things. And we're going to be discussing more specifically about discernment counseling. This is a treatment modality and it's amazing. It works so well with couples, and it really goes really deep in a lot of areas, but it helps them decide the next steps of what they want to do. What I really love about it is that it takes the pressure off of like deciding, oh, we need to divorce, we need to separate or whatever, but more digging deep with each other and seeing what that evolves into and creating two whole better selves and a better relationship. So please help me welcome Kelly Hopkins-Alvarez. Hi, my dear. Listen, I have to say this, okay? I mean, I'm glad, I can't even believe you came because the last time you're here, and if you never saw the show, we had technical issues and the audio was off. And so therefore I couldn't say anything. And this woman spoke for 30 minutes and did amazing. So I can't believe you're willing to try again. So thank you so much for coming.
Oh, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. When we're together, it's really enjoyable. And I love the questions that you ask and the energy. And you're really bringing mental health to our community, and the variety of topics that the show is covering is pretty impressive.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. That's why you're kind of our contributor now. All right, so let's get into this. I'm really curious, how did this discernment counseling come about?
Well, I just want to start out that discernment counseling is not couples therapy. Okay. Discernment counseling, years ago in Minnesota, there was a family court judge that was noticing couples who are coming to end their marriage and sign the final document, which is called the divorce decree. As they were signing the document, they were looking over at each other and saying, I'm not sure. Did we do everything we could? Is this right for us? Should we have tried more? And the judge sort of made a rough calculation. It was roughly 30% of the partners that came before him in court. And so he contacted Dr. Bill Doherty, who is the director of counseling at the University of Minnesota. And he said, Dr. Bill, do something. You're the therapist, you're the counselor. Take care of this 30% of couples who are really uncertain if they want to end their marriage, and create a model for them. So I find that fascinating that it actually started from the legal profession. And Dr. Bill Doherty,
yeah, it is surprising, but it isn't surprising, because they do see in family court a lot of these relationships that could possibly be salvaged, and I love how he noticed that there was kind of this, population that could be having more conversations before this is a final decision,
Yeah. And I want to mention that the model is not just for heterosexual couples, of course. It's for any sexuality, it's for any gender, it's for gender non-binary. It's basically any parties that are in a relationship that want to explore the path forward for them, whether it be working on the marriage, whether it be putting a pause in the marriage and separating, whether it be moving towards divorce. So it's a very inclusive model.
Yeah, no, it seems too that it's kind of really, when I was looking at it, it's definitely very specific, but all of the points that were there, I was like, wow, this would really work. You know what I mean? Now, can you explain maybe what the structure and the sessions is, this model that you're talking about?
Sure. The easiest way to do it might be to kind of, on my website, I have listed under Discernment Counseling, the initial call. So the best way to understand discernment is kind of thinking about a call that I would get from a prospective client. Discernment counseling is really for mixed agenda couples or partners, where someone's sort of leaning into the marriage and someone's leaning out. Occasionally, you might have two partners that are leaning out. So as we get to learn the structure of the sessions, first we look at like, who would be calling me and what are they saying to me? And how do I figure out the difference between someone who's kind of geared towards couples therapy or discernment? So a big part of my initial call with people is listening to all partners, have conversations with any partner. So there's a lot of time that goes into it. So I can listen to how they feel and what they're looking for. What are their goals? And if both people align and want to work on the marriage, they go into couples therapy. If at least one person is saying, I don't know, we did therapy before, it didn't work, I'm really tired, I'm stuck, I'm not sure of what I want, then I discuss discernment, I send them information, and I have them take a look at that to see if they feel that it's right for them. And in terms of how the structured sessions are, as you know, couples therapy, the couple is always together. Usually, right, Risa, we do an initial session with them, and then we do one session with each of them. And then the third and subsequent sessions are always together. Discernment is very different.
Yeah.
Discernment, if you think about it, it's the initial session, the two partners are together for roughly 30 minutes. And the sessions for discernment are intensive sessions. There's only 5 to 7 sessions in the model. That's how it was created. So it was designed with sort of a stopgap in it, that it wouldn't morph into couples therapy without anyone realizing it. So we have.
I love this. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
We have longer sessions, but we only have a set amount of sessions. So people know that this is a serious model. This is a model where we start with the two of them together for roughly a half hour. And then one of them will go to the waiting room. And then I work with the other partner. And then we switch. The other one comes back in. And then at the end, I bring them both back together.
Right.
So it's very different than the way you would think therapy is.
Well, couples therapy, it seems like it's depending, but it's not so kind of structured as you said. But this is like a specific time, of goals that you make, and then a time frame for that. And it seems to be like this is what you do before you're, the couples counseling. You know what I mean? It's like, there needs to be clarification and about what's even going on, because it's very hard for each person to even know what they're wanting, or where it's going. And so I think you step in and kind of help, give a direction after that, and then they go and do the other work, however they want to do, but
that's a good point.
Yeah.
We actually told in discernment to describe, there's 3 paths that we focus on. The first path we tell partners is, do you want to remain in the status quo? Basically, the way your relationship is, do you want to keep that? Many people will say no. Some will maybe lean to that because maybe one of the partners is not really ready to do anything. The second path is exploring separation or divorce. And the third path is exploring couples therapy. So that is kind of our part of our goal in discernment, is to keep reminding the partners, we're here to help you gain clarity and confidence on which path is right for you.
Right, I see. So who would be a good candidate? What are good candidates for discernment counseling?
That's an excellent question. So
I know. No, I'm just kidding.
People who can kind of look at their part, right? You know, as we're both therapists, that when we work with a couple or an individual, we're trying to help people have some self-awareness, some self-insight. So if each person can do their own work of kind of looking at their role in how the relationship got to this point, they're good candidates for discernment counseling. What's really difficult is if you have a client who kind of puts everything off on their partner. You know, the state of our marriage is due to 100% due to my partner. They really would not be, discernment counseling would be contraindicated for them, because Dr. Doherty would say, if he were here, he would say a big part of discernment counseling is helping each individual partner create a personal agenda for change. I get excited when I hear that. Like,
I do too.
Yes.
I love that. And that just goes along with, that filters into all areas of our therapy, because, you know, we do want to be the agent of change. And it's just like, anyway, go back to you. What were you going to say?
I like that you use that term, agents of change. We're working with them to kind of help them restory their lives in terms of the relationship, and have them do a deep dive on what were the good times in the relationship, what were moments and efforts that they did to turn the relationship around. We look at their baseline, if you will, which is, what was the relationship like initially? Did they have a friendship? Did they have an attraction?
Yeah, right.
So we're really allowing the individual part of discernment we're going really deep with those clients and helping them in an unbiased way, completely unbiased, and helping them look at the state of their relationship and also what they want going forward to include the dynamic with any children. That's a component of discernment, is looking at the co-parenting piece of the relationship.
Right, exactly. And so can you give us any sort of examples of how you've seen that when you're using discernment counseling versus prior to that? You know what I mean? Prior to your awareness and training in this discernment, like, what's the difference? Like,
so most of us in graduate school didn't learn about discernment. Did you? No. So prior to having the tools of discernment counseling, we may as therapists try to treat the relationship, meaning give them tools, give them the repair, give them homework. And what you'll notice with people who are in the space of being leaning out, they don't do the homework.
Not going to do it.
They may not show up again. It's kind of putting a treatment on someone who doesn't want it.
Exactly.
So prior to having discernment as a tool, those of us as therapists would just do what we were trained to do, which was fix relationships.
Right. Exactly.
And discernment is so revolutionary because we really look at each partner and we hear in an up-to-date way, where are you in the relationship? Where do you see this relationship going? I love that part of it because to me it feels ethically and morally correct because I'm not pushing anything on anybody.
No, and that's the thing. You can't, it's really, no matter like whatever, if it's maybe we would see self-destruct, it's our decision, in the end, but what is that vehicle of change is you coming in and, at that time where it's like not necessarily going to do just the individual work, but that needing to even just flesh out what direction do we go? And I think that's really helpful because people will not do therapy. Basically, like you said, one person doesn't, but they're going to, not, not be, into it. So it's like, if you were to present a different type of treatment, which is like, we're not doing couples therapy. We're not deciding whether you get stay there or stay together or not. We are, creating goals and we're going deeper with each other, seeing if connections can be made again or, increase connections that they have. So, it sounds like it's just really amazing. I'm gonna get certified in it now because I was reading about it and I just loved it. A lot of things I've been doing, but still, it's definitely like a specific model. There's certain type of treatments that we will have where it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you'd be surprised how much something like that would work.
Yes.
Certain things I got certified, whatever.
Yes.
This seems really like, not real. You're not present, but anyway.
I'm thrilled that you want to get certified in discernment so more people can get exposed to this model, because when you think about the amount of relationships that can get turned around from slowing down. Honestly, when you're unhappy in a relationship, sometimes there could be a feeling of, I don't want this pain anymore. Or maybe, Risa, couples who maybe have contacted us who've been stuck for 10 years. And then they finally come in and they're like raring to go. And discernment really is kind of holding them back and saying, whoa, let's really look at this. I have this prism in my office. I say, let's look at each facet of the relationship. And what it does is it keeps partners non-adversarial also. If they do eventually ultimately choose path 2, which is divorce, they do it differently. I'm part of the Connecticut Council of Non-Adversarial Divorce, and it's all about kind of stopping the trauma of having this leak into children's lives and the court lives. I remember hearing a family court judge at one of the Connecticut Council conferences, sharing how unpleasant it is to be with people who are divorcing, who are being very adversarial with each other, and especially the negative impacts on kids. So whatever comes out of discernment, you are developing that personal agenda for change, and you're trying to bring your best self to the relationship. Either it's going to enhance this relationship or your next one, should you decide not to stay together.
But regardless, in the end, both people are better for it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because they're processing it in a way that, you know, being examined, your support and that kind of thing, and really uncovering things. Like, I always kind of think of therapy as like a root canal sometimes. And it's like there's an infection. And it's like we got to pull, it hurts. And you got to pull the infection out, but then you put everything back in together. You know what I mean? So it doesn't hurt anymore. Right. But I love the idea, because this middle step is really like, I think it's really important, because it's a lot of people have difficulty making the jump to therapy, as they think that, oh my gosh, we're in therapy, you know, next step is divorce, failure, and all that stuff. So it's like they resist getting the help that, you know, is needed. You know, I find that most relationships that have kind of gone off is mainly a big communication breaker. And the thing is we all don't communicate the same way, you know, and we expect other people to be just like us, you know. And so years or whatever, however long, but of going through a relationship without, you know what I mean, you know, self-awareness and all that kind of stuff, you build resentments and just, you know what I mean? And, you know, so it's like, I kind of see relationships as like you meet somebody and it's like this beautiful garden, you know, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. And then you have to feed it, you know, and I know you know that because you've been married for, well, how long have you been married?
28 years.
Shut up. Shut up.
28 years. Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right, we'll talk more about that at lunch.
Yes, we will.
But anyway, I don't know. I went on my rant about discernment counseling, but I feel like a lot of people are in that middle step, the step before therapy. And I know that, you know, given, you know, this model and also just the evidence-based part about it would be so helpful. And it's not like you're going in there and saying, okay, we're going to counseling, we're divorcing. I think a lot of people get caught up in that and they don't get the help that they want. And
I want to mention too, Risa, that discernment, even though there's 5 to 7 sessions, as you were talking, it made me think of this, to clarify that sometimes people only do one discernment session. Yeah. Sometimes they only need one.
Really? I thought
no, there's no contract. So each time we meet for discernment, at the end, I ask partners, you know, where do you think you are with this? Do you think this is something you'd like to do again? And so we don't meet every week for discernment either, because remember, there's a personal agenda for change that each partner makes. So there needs to be time built into the model. So in between our sessions, you are action oriented.
I love that.
You're doing your own self-care. You are doing activities that maybe you've put off. Maybe you're improving your relationship with your kids, your career. So the model is not every week. And I should also say that it can be very beneficial that if you have partners in discernment counseling, that they do their own individual work. Yeah. So it can be hard to come into discernment counseling possibly and share your truth or hear your partner share theirs.
Processing with someone else. Yeah.
You're right.
No, I 100% agree. I've never met a couple, you know, that I didn't feel like they had to have their own therapist, you know, in order to get the work done that they needed. And you know what? Therapy is great for everybody. I mean, I always see it as exercise of my internal world. And that's like more important than the external world. If I'm okay on the inside, the outside follows.
I love that. Exercise of my internal world. And, you know, discernment counseling clients need nurturing and support. This is such a scary time. And sometimes they'll tell you it's exciting. The leaning out person might feel a little bit excited that they're able to contemplate their life in a different way. And I should describe this terminology of leaning in, leaning out. Quite often when we work with partners, if someone initially was a leaning in person and someone was leaning out, they too, with the individual sessions, may notice and have a chance to review sort of the strengths of the relationship and the challenges of the relationship. And they're kind of beginning to be more self-reflective. So sometimes we see partners change roles. In the middle of
Yes.
discernment, the leaning out person is like, I'm in now.
Wow.
And now this person's like, I'm not so sure. I've been doing my own work. I've been thinking. And so there's a safe space.
It's a process.
It's a process. And
I mean, it's a process, obviously.
Yes.
But to be able to be like leaning in and leading out and stuff like that, but you are there to help support them to go through that, because that can be very vulnerable when you're leaning in and the other person's leaning out. Yeah. But I think with the support and the work that you're doing, you are able to help, them deal with that.
Yes.
That process, because that's just that in the moment. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think that's another thing we have to realize is like, we may feel something strongly in a moment or a time period, a month, whatever, but that also always changes too. So it's like, we have to expect, I think, in life, just the fact that, it's not always going to be, perfect. And, sometimes it will be like, a little bit in and out kind of thing.
Right. And I should say also with discernment, sometimes as whether we're working with an individual adult or a couple, someone may come to us and they've already technically separated from their partner. Maybe they're sleeping in a different bedroom. I've had clients where someone is living in the rental property, or they've actually gone the step of getting their own apartment. And so there's another facet, which again, we weren't trained in graduate school, called healing separation, which sometimes overlays with discernment. So if this is discernment and this is healing separation, you may find that clients, as part of their discerning and digging deep, need to do it in a different bedroom.
Right.
Need to do it in a different location. And
sure.
Yes. And so we then have another layer of support when there's children involved.
Yeah.
I met with partners yesterday, and one of their agenda goals was, please help us tell our kids.
Right. Wow.
And so a lot of emotion, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's intense, like intense work, but it's beautiful that I really do think it's beautiful work, because it does go really deep. And it does, it does the ability to bring couples together. Or, what the thing is that, the whole, I guess I would say my agenda would be that I just want to have that best selves of each other. You
took the words out of my mouth. That's it.
That's the journey. It's like,
that's your feeling as a therapist. So we share that whoever's sitting in front of us, we kind of feel like we want them to have their highest and best life. And that translates really well, Risa, in sessions. Discernment counseling clients feel that, and they feel like, okay, she wants the best for me. She's going to help me find within myself what's right for me.
Yeah.
So that was a perfect statement you said. You're a perfect candidate to get certified in discernment.
I will.
The principles already.
That's not well known to me. I really, so this has been really good for me, because I am learning, of different. You always want to learn. That's what I tell my clients. I'm like, listen, I'm learning every day, and I'm in the game every day, and that means I could get injured, but I'm in the game. You know what I mean? Mm. And so, being open, vulnerable, right? But that's how that's the way to happiness, is to be open. Yeah.
And so we're nearing the end of our time. So just kind of that.
My mom did the clock wrong.
So
she gave me the clock. Thanks, Mom. Anyway. Okay, so are we down to 2 minutes?
We have about 3 minutes.
Oh, really? Okay. So Kelly, please give us a way to get in touch with you.
Sure. So you could click on the link to the Channel 23 Facebook page and click on that, and they'll have my information there. You can go to kellyhopkins-alvarez.com. Kelly is spelled EY.
Yes.
You can email me at kellytherapy@icloud.com.
Okay.
And I look forward to speaking with you and sort of learning more about where people are in their relationships. I do specialize in relationships, couples therapy, discernment counseling, co-parenting, and I do individual work.
Where's your book? Okay. Now, why don't you write a book? Just put the salt in the wound with you.
I am so much of a
joking. If I didn't love you, I would probably get you. No, I'm just kidding. All right, I'm being totally silly. If anyone wants to get in touch with me, which I don't know, they might think I'm crazy right now, but it's rmrichfieldtherapy.com. So you can email me through there and I will get back in touch with you. I'd love to hear any feedback, comments, and questions. We didn't have any comments or questions. At least I didn't see any, right?
Not yet. No, actually, I think the producer is manning that page, so I can't visibly see them.
We don't see the comments or questions and that kind of stuff. But
not yet. We'll work on that for next time.
I know. Well, how long do we have now?
We've got just about a minute left.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, I mean, I just love talking to you. I really do. You know, and I know that you do such good work. I admire you, and it's unfortunate that you're my friend because you would be my therapist. Seriously.
You are the kindest person.
No, I just say the truth. So, you know.
And I love that we are in the same building together because I can walk down the hall. Like the other day, you walked down the hall and we were able to just have a quick hello. And as therapists, it's so nice as friends to do that. And I'm lucky to have your energy here.
Me too.
And getting mental health and different versions of mental health out to the community.
Right. So like you're saying, as therapists, we need support as well. And if we don't self-care, we are not going to be in a good place as well. So we're doing all the work that we ask clients to do. And we're doing it. It's our daily practice. And our muscles, we've been doing it for a while. So I feel like my muscles are strong. But it's like, you know, if I stop doing things that make me happy, that I take care of myself and all those things, friends and all that, then, you know, you can slide into negative space. So I always work really hard because I don't want negative.
And kind of it looks like we're wrapping up now. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh.
I look forward to more talks in the future.
Definitely.
Okay.
All right. Bye guys. Thank you so much
for
joining us. Thank you. Bye.